Drossing nothing but the impurity material which floats on the liquid aluminium metal. When we are melting the liquid aluminium, when we are melting the aluminium material, normally at 660 degrees centigrade, aluminium melts, or melting of aluminium takes place. It means that conversion of solid aluminium into liquid aluminium, that is taking place at 660 degrees centigrade. Okay. And even after that, we are heating up to 700 degrees centigrade or up to 750 degrees centigrade. We are heating the aluminium in order to get sufficient fluidity. Fluidity means, already I have informed, I have explained, such that when before pouring, it should have sufficiently fluid. Otherwise, what happens? The freezing of metal takes place immediately. Solidification takes place immediately. It will not reach all the corners. Liquid metal will not reach all the corners of the mold cavity. Therefore, the liquid metal has to be sufficiently fluid character. It means superheating. It has to be superheated. So now, what is drossing? Dross nothing but it's a mass of solid impurity floating on the surface of liquid metal, or surface of aluminium, anything. So on the surface of the liquid metal, the impurity, it is very, very light in weight, that will be floating. That floating substance or impurity is called as dross. Okay. Then drossing means how to create that dross, that impurity. That impurity we have in the ferrous metal, we call it as slag. SLAG, slag. Slag nothing but what? The impurity which floats on the surface of the steel, liquid steel. So that impurity can be removed, and then we are going to pour the pure metal into the mold cavity. Here also same thing we have to do. Dross nothing but which is impurity floating on the surface of the liquid metal, that is called as the dross. So that is given here. Dross is a mass of solid impurities floating on the surface of low melting point metals such as aluminium, tin, lead, zinc, etc. On the surface of these materials, liquid metals, when it is floating impurity, that is called as dross. Okay. How dross is formed? How this impurity is formed means it is a result of oxidation of the molten metal. When the metal is melted, during melting, what happens? It absorbs oxygen, so that oxidation of that metal takes place. That oxide is the result of oxidation of the molten metal. So, which with reference to aluminium castings, the term drossing is specially used to denote the formation of aluminium oxide and other oxides that collect on the surface of the molten metal. What is dross? Dross is the reaction of base metal with oxygen, atmospheric oxygen, so that then oxide of that metal is formed. Oxide of that metal. It means that if aluminium is being melted, so that aluminium reacts with oxygen, aluminium oxide is produced. Like that, oxide of that metal is formed. That will be lighter in weight, and then that will float on the liquid metal surface. That is called as dross. Okay. Any liquid metal has to be protected from atmospheric air. It should not be exposed to atmospheric air. Why means it will absorb atmospheric oxygen and forms oxide, and that creates problem in the liquid, in the casting, if it is embedded within the liquid metal. Therefore, that care has to be taken. So now this dross can be minimized. Dross nothing but it is a floating, so on the surface floating impurity, that is called as a dross. That can be minimized when melting is made faster. So how to reduce dross? We have to melt the liquid metal. We have to convert into liquid from solid at a faster rate. Slowly we are doing means more dross is formed. Faster the rate of conversion of or transformation of solid into liquid, then less dross is produced because less time is available for the interaction with atmospheric oxygen. Therefore, less dross is formed. Or this is one method. Or how to reduce dross means protect the molten metal from the contact from the products of combustion atmospheric air. So we have to avoid. How means it has to be covered with the lid, everything, so that the furnace is sealed properly. So our vacuum by means of vacuum. So many things we can do. However, even with its formation, the dross product need not be considered as waste material. So dross is formed. Once the dross is formed, so that it is not totally waste. Dross produced is not totally waste. It can be recycled. Again, it can be used for producing next cycle of operation. It can be remelted. The on the solid surface, it is floating. It can be taken off and then it can be put into a furnace again. Again, it can be remelted. Like that, the process it can be recycled. So like that it goes on. So what is dross? Dross nothing but it is the process of formation, it is the formation of and floating lighter particles or lighter waste material or impurity on the surface of the liquid metal, non-ferrous liquid metal, that is called as a dross. It is normally formed by interaction or reaction of the liquid metal with the atmospheric condition or atmospheric air. So it can be minimized by like this. So we have to increase the rate of conversion of solid into liquid metal and protect the molten metal from the atmospheric interaction. By that method, it can be